Hello and welcome back to Falco's Bizarre Adventure. My name is Limadinata and I will be presenting to you about the changes to level 1. Falco's Bizarre Adventure now has items functionality. There are 3 universal items that are added to the game. It includes the medkit, the armor potion and the goal item. The medkit, as its name implies, recovers the player's health, and the armor potion recovers the player's armor. And finally, the goal item is a universal item that needs to be collected in each level to finish the game. And along with the new items, level 1 now has a bigger expanded map where a new boss lives in. So now let me take you through all of the new additions. So now I'll demonstrate to you the usage of the new universal item. The first one will be the medkit. We will just touch it and you can see here the health increases, and as for the armor it also does the same thing. And as for level 1 we have added some of them and we have spread it across the entire map. As for the expansion of the map of level 1, as you can see here, we have added a new area which is blocked off by this door, and this door will only be open when every enemy outside of this door is already killed. So for now, let's just do some cheeky hack. You can delete this and you can see the door opens. As you enter, you will be greeted by the boss. And this is the first phase of the boss. It shoots acid gas and it will change as the health reduces. As it reaches a certain level, it will start shooting missiles. So now let's demo it to you. There you go. There you go. Now it shoots missiles that seeks the player's target. Alright, so as the boss dies, as you can see there, a new item will be dropped by the boss and we can collect it. So this item is the universal goal item, which we need to collect for each level for the player to win the game. So now let's see what happens if we collect the game. If we collect the item. As you can see, it displays the dialogue, and it should now show us that the level is complete and we can return to the base. The overall flow of the game is as follows. As the game is started, the player will be directed into the main menu where they can access the instructions page in the main base. In the main base, the player has the freedom to choose whichever level they want, be it 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, whichever they want to play first. The main goal is to play all levels in no particular order, collect the item in each level and complete the level. When the player dies, they can continue to respawn, or they can return to base to try other levels first. When the player has collected all items from each level, which is goal achieved, and they return to the main base, a dialogue will play and the winning scene will appear after the dialogue is done. And so the game is completed. So in level 1, there are two different areas, Area 1 and Area 2. Area 2 is blocked by a door to add the challenge to the game. So to unlock the door, the player should kill all the enemies aside from the boss, so that the new door blocking the new area from the old one will open. The boss is also not an easy enemy. It has two phases, one phase where it shoots close range acid gas, and another where it shoots targeting missiles. Once the boss is killed, it will drop the ancient disc that can help Falco get the information to return back home. Lastly, I would like to demonstrate to you the new game manager functions that is able to accommodate the new goal items. So now the game manager script has goal item trackers. This is implemented using a simple boolean array, and this will be checked and updated whenever the player collects a new goal item from different levels. So element 0 will be for level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 and level 5. And so when we collect the item and it checks that everything is checked off, the goal items completed will be checked off, so it will be set as true, and it will trigger the dialogue once the player returns back to the main base. And if we go through the dialogue here, it's quite a lengthy dialogue. There you go. It will show you the you win scene, which indicates that you have completed the game. And so that's it for the universal components of the game, as well as the updates and extensions for level 1. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Syed Mohd, the SW1909614, and here I'll be talking about the updates for level 2. So first off is the items. We implemented the armor and the health potion. So here we can see damage done to the armor, and after a while the damage will be done to the health. And here we can see the armor potion working. And here we can see the health potion working. So the next change in the level is the traps. So here we can see the traps implemented. These are the spikes, as well as the flames that are happening here. Another thing that was implemented is the final item. The final coordinates in this case is in a form of a key. So this key will contain the coordinates of this planet and allow the player to go back to their home base as such. So another change that has been done to the level is the player to revive, since it can actually die. So when it dies, compared to other levels, this level is reset totally because boulders need to be in certain places and the items are consumable, so it needs to be there for the next time the player starts to play again. So that's it for now for the level updates. For the walkthrough diagram, first part is the area 1. So in this area, the player is introduced to the mechanics of the boulders and the doors. The second area introduces the hints such as ready, set, and go, and also some of the colored tiles, colored pressure points. And here they are also introduced to the traps. On the third area, the player has to solve the final puzzle of arranging the order of pushing this and also releasing the red button. And afterwards, a boulder needs to be placed on the tile on the altar. And the last area is the fourth area, which the last area is the fourth area, which is open once the altar is pressed. And the player can claim the planet coordinates in the form of the key here. That's it from me. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Umar Jerry with a student ID of SWE1909919, and I'm going to present the extensions that I've made for my level, which is level 3. So for the extensions in the level, I have created a new stage, which is a temple, added new items to be collected, and added gold item in this level, which is an ancient disc. I have also added 3 new enemies, one of them including the boss of this level. And to give more details for you guys, I will play a short demo on the outdated level. But before that, let me explain about the new items in the game. So the new items in the game are Medkit, which restores the player's health by a little bit. And then there is the Armor Potion, which increases the amount of shield bar by a little bit as well. And then in this level, there is one unique item called the Heating Potion, which reduces the hypothermia gauge that the player has when playing the game. So this item will prolong the player from avoiding hypothermia effect. So I'm going to start the game at the temple level, and I'll see you guys when I clear the snow level. Okay, so now I'm at the snow temple level. So to get to this stage, the player will have to beat all of the golems in the snow level, and at the end of the snow stage, the player will be teleported to a temple with a lot of new enemies. So let's get started on the game. So the new enemies that the player will be encountered first is a flamethrower robot. So this robot has a really high attack range, but it's quite relatively slow. And then there is the Temple Ruin robot, which gives a player a sense of surprise attack. So when the player gets close to the robot, the Ruin robot will start chasing the player at a high speed, but the player is still able to run through the Ruin robot. So when the player reaches the first part of the temple, the player must battle with the mage, which has a very high attack before receiving the ancient disc. And when the witch has been beaten, the player will be able to take the disc, and the player will then move to the main base to select a new level.
And now I will present about the gameplay diagrams on my level, which is level 3. So for the snow stage, the gameplay diagrams works as follows. So the player should beat off the golem in this stage. So in this level, there are 5 golems that the player need to beat. And once all of the golems are killed, the player will be teleported to the snow temple stage. While on the snow temple stage, the player just only need to beat the mage as the boss of this level. So there are 2 possible routes in this stage that the player can follow. So if the player wants to avoid most of the enemies in the stage, the player can follow the first route. So this route will minimize the likelihood of the player to find the enemies and just go straight to the boss. So, but the players still also need to be a little bit flamethrower bots, and probably going to be ambushed by the temple ruin bots. But if the player wants to challenge themselves in the stage, the player can follow the second route. So this second route will maximize the chance of the player to meet a lot of enemies in the stage and before going straight to the mage. So once the mage has been beaten by the player, the mage will drop a disc to be collected before going back to the main base.
Hello, my name is Ahmad Hasnol, SWE 1909647, and today I'll be explaining the level expansion of my level. In this version of the game, there are more enemies, there are more enemy types, and the level has been expanded as you can see. There are more challenges such as spikes. There are certain enemies that move up and down and they only guard a certain territory. And there's a boss now, and this boss will not move or will not be damaged at all until all of the other enemies are dead. They also have a greater health point and can inflict a lot of damage. We also have potions, such as the health soup, which actually makes you hurt because you don't want to drink poison. There's a banana, which can help you gain some health points. Besides that, I invite you to play the game and try to collect the gold item. This gold item needs to be collected as well as defeating all the enemies before we can actually proceed to the next level. It is a lot harder and a lot more challenging than the previous level of this game. So let's have a look at the walkthrough diagram of this current map. There isn't really any specific direction or order in which you have to enter the section. This is because all of the enemies will target you everywhere you go. The reason behind this is because all enemies are melee based. The only enemy that stays at its place is the boss until all the other enemies are done or dead. So 1, the player should kill all the enemies in area 1 in no specific order. This will make the boss alive from area 2 and attack the player. The player should kill the boss before he does because the boss is very powerful, and only by collecting the item and killing the boss, will the player succeed to the next level. Once boss is killed, the player has to find a disc to escape the planet, as mentioned earlier. That's it for my level.
Hi, my name is Qoussay El Akkari, and I designed the level 5 for Falco's Bizarre Adventure. I'm gonna take you today through the different updates to my level. I already thought that the level was really hard to finish and beat. There are a lot of mobs who do a lot of damage, and difficult boss on top of that will rip you apart. For those reasons, I decided to not add extra challenges to my level. However, I added multiple items that recover the player health and shield throughout the level. Some examples are right here. They're distributed in almost every room of the level. And they're one health potion and one shield potion right outside of the boss room. To compensate for this change, I decreased the player initial health for this level. It went down from 1000 to 500. I've also added an item that the last boss will drop when he dies. This item will be the last piece that completes what Falco has been searching for to go back to his planet. An example of that is right here. I decreased the boss health just to test this. As shown here, the item will be dropped when the boss dies. And when Falco collects it, it'll just tells you that you won, and then you can go back to your base. To add some flavor and especially context to the level, I added a bunch of villagers in the first area. When walking by them, the village elder who seems the leader of the group notices you and approaches you to meet them. And we'll just test that right now if we drag the player to the first area and to the game. These villagers can be seen in an idle state, but when approached by the player will stop moving and it will initiate some sort of a cutscene or sequence. The villager will approach you as seen right here, and they will initiate dialogue. The dialogue starts by the village elder asking about Falco's origins since he does not look like one of the villagers. But he quickly changes the subject and tells you all about what's happening in the village and asks for your help, and in return, Falco can claim anything he wants from the throne. Thus, Falco will secure the last product. That was all for my level, and thank you for listening.